Talking Penn State football, we're looking at the offense first and foremost, and we will track the defense here soon with Marty and with Tim. You can catch Marty and Tim in their work at Black Shoe Diaries on SB Nation. Also, of course, they delivered for us Penn State post-game all throughout a Rose Bowl winning season. All right, I guess we will go from there to the running back position, and the two guys that obviously are the headliners. So Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, a lot was expected, especially of Singleton, and they delivered. I don't think there's much disappointment there by any stretch, because you hear these kind of accolades from five-star running backs, and sometimes they never deliver, and sometimes it takes them a couple of years, but rarely do they come through the way these guys did this quickly.
I mean, my goodness, was it a what's the term? It was like a fresh breath of air seeing those two tote the rock last season, especially when Singleton in this against Ohio, broke a huge touchdown run early in the game and we hadn't seen that since Journey Brown had to medically retire, unfortunately. So to get those kinds of huge runs again. And then Katron Allen, I mean, not a home run hitter, but he could rip off some good, like 15, 20, even more than that sometimes on his runs. He's faster than people may give him credit for. I know he's regarded as more of like a bowling ball type, but he's pretty shifty himself. So they complement each other very well. It's a great 1-2 running duo. I mean, I would gladly stack this running back duo against any other teams in the country. And yes, I know I'm well aware Michigan has Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, very studly trio. I mean, it's studly duo themselves. I wouldn't trade Singleton or Allen for either of them. And that's not to disrespect Corum and Edwards at all. They're all fine backs. I think that's what I'm trying to say. But it's just great to have those two. What I want to see is who can become that third guy behind them, because unfortunately, people do get banged up in this game, and hopefully that will not happen to either of those two, but you like to have someone just in case. And unfortunately, three of the guys who were on that depth chart last year, along with Singleton and Allen, they're all gone. Keziah Holmes transferred last offseason to Florida State. Devin Ford decided to quit football and focus on academics. And then Kevon Lee entered the portal after the Rose Bowl. He's probably going to end up going to somewhere in his native Florida to finish out his career. But not incoming for them are a couple true freshmen. It's Cam Wallace. And then there's another guy, London Montgomery, who's four-star recruit, but he's kind of flown under the radar a bit because he unfortunately tore his ACL before his senior year of high school. And so he missed his entire senior season, but he was regarded as a very, explosive, solid runner. And I remember during their signing day last December ceremony, James Franklin made a comment, and I'm paraphrasing. This isn't like lines of, you're one of the more, something along the lines like you're very under the radar kind of guy. Like, no, people don't really know how good you truly are. And so I hope he heals fully and is able to provide some depth behind Singleton and Allen. But, you'd like to see them maybe grab someone from the portal after spring practice, if possible. Probably a tall task is to get someone who's willing to be the number 3 guy behind Singleton and Allen. But ideally, if they can do that, I'd feel pretty good about the depth chart overall.
Anything to add to the running backs, Marty?
No, the only thing I really would add is I think a guy to watch at third running back position would be fellow true freshman Cameron Wallace. He's definitely a kid who needs some time in the strength and conditioning program. I think on signing day, they had him at something like 5'10", 160. But the kid's an absolute burner. And knowing that there's a chance Montgomery, might not be game action ready until later into the fall because of when he tore his knee last year. I think, God forbid, something would happen to Singleton or Allen. Wallace would be the guy to watch there to get some reps. And, like I said, he's got that home run speed. So I think he could potentially bring something to the offense if you'd have to go that route, because after those four, you just have a bunch of walk-on options. And I mean, like Tim said, you'd love to add somebody in the portal, but it's going to be very difficult to do when you come in here into what might be the best running back duo in the country, knowing you're going to be the clear-cut number 3 and probably not going to see a ton of playing time.
And I think one more thing to add about the running backs, if Nick Singleton, I'll say the one thing I want to see him improve on this upcoming season is being a reliable weapon in the passing game. That's what made Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, like the greatest running back Penn State's ever had. He was, aside from being a home run threat every time he carried the ball, I mean, he was utilized a lot in the passing game. Like you could hit him like on just like seam routes up the middle, or hit him on some screens, or he was just super effective in the pass game. You still see it now with the way he's utilized by the Giants offense. So if Singleton can become more adept at pass catching, he's going to be the complete package.